This episode is brought to you by ARX. You want to be a successful strength training studio owner. The problem is you aren't able to deliver the safest, most efficient and effective workouts, making it harder for you to attract and retain clients, which makes you feel frustrated. I understand that it can be difficult to differentiate your business without the right tools. ARX's breakthrough adaptive resistance technology uses patented motorized resistance and computer software to give you and your clients the perfect workout every single time. BioFit founder John Zarbok says that ARX is clearly the superior tool to deliver the exercise stimulus. My clients are seeing insane improvements in weeks, not months. I could not fathom running my business without ARX. So here's how you get started. Number one, go to arxfit.com/HOB to get $500 off your ARX machines. Number two, book a call with the ARX sales team. And number three, learn how ARX can help you grow your strength training business. Go to arxfit.com/HOB so you can stop struggling to attract and retain clients and start to grow your strength training business with confidence. This episode is brought to you by Strength Portal. You need a single software platform that enables your trainers to deliver consistent, high-quality workouts, track client progress, and scale your business. The problem is you're still using pen and paper or basic spreadsheets to run your business, which leads to poor client experiences, inaccurate tracking, and prevents you from growing your business, making you feel frustrated. Strength Portal understand your challenge and have worked closely with the HIIT industry to create a software platform to manage and scale your niche business. You can integrate with MindBody, manage a standardized exercise and workout library for your team, track workouts effectively, and produce client reports at the click of a button. Strength Portal is used by multiple businesses in the high-intensity strength training community, namely Discover Strength, Smart Strength Austin, MedX Precision Fitness, and more. Starting with Strength Portal is super simple. Number one, sign up for the best package for your business. Number two, let Strength Portal take the load off and help onboard your business onto the platform. And number three, start delivering consistent workout experiences and scale your business to the next level. To help support the podcast, please go to strengthportal.com/high-intensity business and sign up now so you can stop feeling frustrated about your business and start to scale your business to its true potential. Go to strengthportal.com/high-intensity business. All right, Lawrence Snell here, and welcome back to High Intensity Business, the podcast where we discuss high intensity strength training and provide you with the tools, the tactics, and the strategies to grow your strength training business. This is episode 376, and today we are going to dive into interior design at the new Vital Exercise location. So something very different, a really important topic, something that we all have to think about when we're thinking about our brand, thinking about the type of experience we want to provide our clients, is how do we actually design the studio to optimize what we're going for? Today's guest is Ted Harrison. Ted is the owner of Vital Exercise, a private personal training studio based in Brightlingsea, Essex. Ted has been a personal trainer for more than 30 years, helping people transform their health and physique using HIIT-influenced science-based principles. Ted, great to see you.
Hi, nice to see you, Lawrence, and thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. So I'm really excited to talk to you about your beautiful studio. We've had, it's the envy of the industry around the world, the Vital Exercise interior design. It's beautiful. And we're going to be talking about that obviously a lot today, and I'm going to ask you questions about that. But for everyone listening, we may do a tour if it works out during this podcast, but we will also have a video which I'll embed on the blog post for this, because you've done a bunch of videos on your Facebook and various other places. So I will embed those and provide all the links so people can see it, multiple places. So that'll be over on the blog, highintensitybusiness.com, episode 376. So Ted, let's get straight into it, right? So when it came to doing the interior design, what led you to think, right, I'm going to really actually make this look beautiful? Why did you decide to do that? Because your other location's quite modest, right, in terms of interior design. I don't remember it being as flash as this.
No, we started out in 2013, and obviously I was doing it for a long time before that. But we sort of went in for that our first gym was only about 400 square feet, so it's just like a living room really, and we followed along with the principles from Ken Hutchins and Doug McGuff of having a very sort of Spartan, white, clean unit with ostensibly no personality, and that's what we went for, which is terrific because it's very clinical, it's very soothing, very minimalist, and people come in and it creates a feeling of calm. And I can understand very much so why that prescription was given in Ken Hutchins and Super Soul Protocol and Dr. McGuff, etc. I can understand it, and it worked very well. But as with anything, there's progress and personality. As my training has evolved over the years and how I want to prescribe the routines and do things, the studio itself became not redundant, but it became a little bit it didn't follow me. The look didn't follow how I was beginning to evolve my own training and the training of my clients. Okay. So we moved from that location we were in the same business park, but we moved to a much larger location, twice the size. And that's where we put a rubber floor in, and more pictures, more equipment that was more suited to the style of training we were doing, as well as our useless equipment. So that took it to another stage. But this was this is still in like a barn environment. So you're quite limited to what you can do with it. And also our landlord didn't want us to do too much. So we kept it quite Spartan, but it was still had a little bit more of the Vital Exercise personality in it. So moving forward, we were there for 10 years, and now we've closed that location and moved here. And that took a year. The process of taking the lease on this unit and actually opening and occupying it took a year. So over the course of that year, myself and some very helpful and influential people in my life decided to really push the boat out, for want of a better expression, and to make this studio everything that we could envisage to be one of the best studios we could in the UK. And that's what we set out to do, both in terms of architecture and design, and also with the equipment that we use, prime equipment. And we wanted to marry those two together and to play one off the other, and so they all looked. So it all looked very whole and together and working together.
Love it. So it sounds like you had a lot more freedom with this lease, and they were happy for you to just produce what you wanted to in terms of this beautiful look.
Yeah. And for a start, in our previous location, it was a 3-year lease. This one is a 5-year lease. And when we walked in, this unit, what we're sat in now, was actually vacant for 10 years before we got here, and there'd never been anything in it. So it was basically just a concrete box. The only thing this had was a electrical supply. That was it. There was no water. There was only the plumbing to the building, but no other facilities at all. So it was extremely Spartan and sparse, and it was a perfect blank canvas to start with.
I literally wrote that down. Blank canvas, exactly. Yeah.
Tabula rasa, right? Yeah.
What's that?
Tabula rasa, clean slate.
What is that? Is that Latin Greek or something? Greek, is it?
Yeah,
okay.
That's Greek. Yeah, I think tabula rasa. Yeah. I sound very intelligent saying that, don't I? It's the only bit
You
I
do.
know.
That's definitely the most intelligent thing you've ever said on the podcast.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So you worked with a number of teams, or a team of a few parties. Can you talk about those guys and how you came across that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have clients that come down to me 3 times a week from London, and over the course of the last, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years, we've become very good friends. This is Darren and Lee, and they both have a tremendous eye for architectural design and interior design, and they're both extremely passionate about training, and in particular training, thankfully, with us. So we brought Darren down to have a look at it, just because I value his opinion very much and Lee's opinion, and having a look around and seeing the location and that, he said, "What do you want to do with it? How are you going to design it?" And I said, "Well, we're going to, just put a little bit of this here. We're going to, do this, make it very, Indian cotton on the walls, and put a desk here, put some lighting in, a nice bit of air conditioning, and upregulate it and make it a nice environment for Lorraine and I, a kitchen, an inside toilet, which we didn't have at the other one. You had to go across the way to go to the toilet." So Darren said, I've got a bit of not using these words, but he's got a bit of a flurry. He said, "Do you want some help?" So I said, "Absolutely, sure. Give us some feedback." So over the course of 3 months, we came up with a kind of a loose idea of what we wanted to do, playing back and forward with each other and with Lorraine and Lee and another gentleman called Craig, who was also tremendously helpful. And then eventually we just got started, and we had various companies coming in, but Darren has a company and some people that work for him, and we were able to use those guys to come in and help with the first fit. We got a local electrician, Sean, who came in, done a fantastic job of running the electrics around. You've got to start somewhere, so that's where we started. We started the electrics, we put the plumbing in, and then we designed the front desk and the kitchen area, and had to put stud work up and make that side of it. And so once we had that template and the electrics was in, then we could start looking more at the specifics of the interior design, the colors, the textures. And one of the first things we decided on was to do the walls in this concrete effect. And the name of the guys escape me now, but we brought those in. And what were they called, Lorraine? Then what's the name of the gentleman that did the concrete look? Venetian Interiors, and 2 young lads came in and they did a great job with this.
Was this all coordinated by Darren and Lee's company? Did they help with finding these different third parties to help with various aspects?
Yeah, yes, helpful. They did.
You've got a central point of contact like that, yeah.
Yeah, so that was good. They acted, and Craig in particular kind of acted like a project manager.
Got it.
So that they would come back and say, "What do you think of this? What do you think of that?" And then we could talk it over. Yeah. And decide on the, they'd say this, "What do you think of this concrete look?" And then we decided the type of look we wanted, because there's many different looks, so we wanted to go with this very rugged, hardcore look. So,
and before we forget, what was Darren? What's their company name? Do you know?
Drury Court.
How do you?
They're special. Yeah. DRU.
Yeah, I got it. DRURY.
Yeah, Drury Court.
Is court a separate word? COURT?
Yes, COURT, yeah. But they
we'll find that and link it up. Yeah.
Yeah, but they are not an interior design company. That's not what he does.
It's architecture, right?
No, he does. He fits lift shafts and lift surrounds and escalators, and does this kind of thing. But he also has a building company, and does stuff like that. So he has a very good architectural
man of many talents.
He is a man of many talents. That's right. And he is very passionate about his training. So he kind of gets the idea of having a nice environment that is form following function. So we wanted to have something that represented training, and not have the look where the look came first. The look was important, but it was always secondary to the workout itself. So that the look, we both felt, needed to complement the training and not just be a secondary piece in the puzzle. So as you walked in, everything blended. But it spoke of training, not design per se. So the training came first and the design came second, but it blended together to form a whole, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. And I love the theme. I love the concrete look behind you. It's kind of like, for those that are listening, it's kind of light gray with like dark gray marks. I'm not really describing it very well, doing it justice, but it just gives you a really hard, rugged feeling. And I tell me if I'm on the right lines here, but when I look at your interior design, I look at that concrete wall, I look at the brick at the back, it just makes you think this is hard, resilient, right? You wrote a beautiful post on Facebook describing, the experience that people have with Vital Exercise, right? It doesn't care how much money you make or who you are. It's like, this is your test. This is, these machines are relentless, and they're going to really bring out the real you, right? And it's like, I don't know, what it kind of connotes to me, your interior design is this like, it's just like this hard environment that's going to build resilience. That's kind of how I interpret it. Am I along the right lines, or is this?
Yeah, you are. I mean, both Darren and myself are fans of a brutal architecture. Okay. We like that hardcore, brutal look, and we've also incorporated layering. And I was always a fan of Ridley Scott when he. The film director, who talks about layering in his films, when that's sometimes in the shot of the film you wouldn't even see what was in the next room, but he insisted on everything being layered in a way that even if you couldn't see it, it was providing something to the frame, providing something to the shot he was trying to do. And everything from a piece of paper to a cigarette packet in Blade Runner to the bottle of scotch to the tiny details of the costumes and whatever. I always bought into that, and I love that look. And so what we tried to do is to incorporate that into the gym with things like we have the light that is over the top of the front desk is from a Polish chemical factory. Again, it has a very brutalist look, and it's a reconditioned light that was in use in 1961. So we got it because that's the day of my birthday. That's the year of my birthday, I should say. Wow. So that we look at that, and that is layering to us. It's like it's Ted's history. It's part of the Vital Exercise history, and the reclaimed wood that we used for the desktop and our coffee area is from a Victorian pier. Well, my family history involves piers. My uncle, my father, my brother-in-law, both brother-in-laws actually, have been involved in piers, and I did a lot of work on the pier myself. So we found this reclaimed pier wood, stained it, and put that on. So we are nodding to the history of myself and Lorraine, and recognizing that, and that forms psychologically and I believe within the building a certain feeling which cannot be artificial. It's very real. So we were very keen to do that, to find pieces, and we're still not finished. It's still ongoing, So, and of course, one of the major things that I believe very much in, because we're only at 7 or 8 weeks in this location, is that the gym itself absorbs energy. That sounds somewhat metaphysical, but I believe it very much. And I always sort of liken that to if you walk into a room and two people have had an argument, you can sense it whether they're talking or not. There's an energy in that room where two people have just had an argument. And I believe that as gyms are inhabited over time and the energy comes out of the people that are actually working out and training, over time, the energy is absorbed into this environment so that just walking through the door, you feel it. I noticed that very much in the gyms in California when I was training there years ago, particularly in Vince's gym, walking in there. The energy as you walked through the door was palpable. I mean, you took as you walked in, and I believe that
Vince Gironda, this is right.
Yeah, Vince Gironda, and Gold's and World's Gym. You feel it as you walk in. There's a certain energy that absorbed into the walls. As human energy is eviscerated out of you and out of the clients for many hard workouts. The gym takes that, and this gym was designed along those lines too, so that this walls can absorb it, and because it's so brutal looking as well, it will the whole environment will have that feeling.
I love this. It's like if someone comes in, it's like it might just be subconscious, like I know we're kind of going into a little bit, like you say, metaphysical kind of woo area, but it's cool to think that someone could walk into the facility and not be able to consciously know all this stuff, but to be subconsciously impacted and influenced by the deep history and meaning in every component of the studio, right? Which is kind of cool. Tell me more about the thought that went into stuff. Like, like you just said there, the top surface on the desk, front desk, the light. Is there more like that with like where you're trying to bring in vital exercise history and family history into the space?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the logo design, we pared that down to represent a more simplified approach to the workout and a more simplified approach to our client relationship. So before it was colored and we had lines running through it. So paring that back to the absolute minimum, and the same as what we've got on our doors and windows, says something about our forward progression as a company, and me as a trainer, is that we're trying to take away the excess, and put something, just, we even thought about just having the V, just to simplify everything back and make, because that's what we're all doing. That's what I'm doing as a trainer. Although I'm progressing in my approach, it really is a case of, as Bruce Lee said, right? He said, absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and keep what is uniquely your own. And this gym has absorbed what is useful, and we've discarded a lot of stuff in terms of the equipment too, paring it back to just the stuff that we actually need, so that we don't have any superfluous in design or in the equipment. We're always bringing stuff in, you can change, but generally something comes in, something goes out. We just don't want to fill this space just because we've got a bit of empty space. We don't want to fill it, and we don't want any superfluous design elements. So stuff like checker plate, that's that metal, you can't see it, but it's a metal that you would see on steps in an industrial setting. Yeah. So that was also a nod to my family's past, because working on piers and stuff, that was used extensively on the stairs going up to rides and around everywhere. So we wanted to bring that in and use that as skirting and surrounds around doors, which nodded to that. And that was a big process of acquiring that and then having it all powder coated. And the coffee table, we wanted an area. I mean, that's where I'm sat now. It's a very large coffee table that's with no. Again, it's quite hardcore in its look, because we wanted a place for people to gather to have a coffee, but it's not a place to relax per se. You know, it sits at the front and you've got a beautiful view, but it still lends itself. It's got metal on it, and it still lends itself very much to the workout aesthetic. You know.
Yeah, it's congruent with the rest of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love all of it. And again, there'll be obviously a video of the tour on the website, guys, over at episode 376, highintensitybusiness.com. Yeah, I mean, I love what you said about the logo. I love the iteration. I think the new logo looks fantastic. I even noticed, I think you've taken the horizontal bit out of the A. I believe that was in the original one. The little subtle things like that. Yeah,
and the line going through it.
And I love it because, yeah, exactly. Because it's like an upside down V, isn't it? It's just simplifying it. And it's very congruent with itself. You know, it's just the vital components, right? I think it looks amazing. I don't think you should just have had the V. I think you did the right thing in keeping the word vital, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it looks great. Really pleased with that. So we talked about, you know, the theme, the kind of like, you know, experience you're trying to allow people to have. Obviously, much of that is delivered through the workout and through the customer experience with your interaction with yourself and Lorraine, but you know, the role that the interior design plays with that as well. So at the back of the studio, you still have some of that yellow brownish brick, right? What made you decide to keep that and not just do this whole gray concrete effect across the whole thing?
Well, we looked at it, and it had water stains and various little stains and imperfections, and that just said exactly what we wanted to say. We didn't want it to be perfect. We wanted it to be an organic part of the unit. Now, the back wall is where we have a lot of our metabolic conditioning equipment. We have the road bike, the ski erg, we have the bike erg there, and the resistance rope. So that also transitions quite nicely into that area. But we're still working on the lighting on there. The lighting isn't perfect yet, because one of the things that we want to do is continually add. You know, I've got pictures ready to go up, but not yet. We want to continually add bits and pieces as we go forward, to keep upgrading, keep adding a fresh look, but without, as I said earlier, without overdoing it. You know, put something in that actually is in certain ways that adds something to it. Functionally, the lighting across that back wall isn't right. So what we want to do is to put some lighting that throws more attention on that brickwork and more attention on those imperfections, while achieving the look that not only the look, but actually the functionality of what we want. So that's been somewhat of a challenge, is to find those exact lights that also fit in with the aesthetic. So we're not in a hurry. You know, we're not in a hurry. And because we're not a spa, you know, people can walk into this gym and think that, you know, it's like a spa, particularly in an environment like this. You know, but I always say it's vital exercise, but it's Ted's gym, you know, and that's really what it is. So we're not in a hurry to get it absolutely perfect so people can come in and immediately have everything. You know, we're evolving too in this building as we go forward, and it probably won't be finished completely for another year. And even then, we want to keep going, because as trainers being here every day, it's nice to add an element that is important, you know, just one thing that is important, and to keep adding bits and pieces as you go, and getting rid of stuff that has proved to be inefficient or not necessary. So just looking around here, you can see different things that you'd like to change. But the back wall it's still somewhat of a blank canvas that we want to add little things. We've thought about animal, skulls, not real ones, but they do like a washed out replica of a skull. We thought about something like that.
You love Ridley Scott, right? You could get like a whole alien head replica skull.
Yes.
Put that on the wall. No, is that too much?
Maybe. Yeah. It's all got to work. It's all. We've seen various designs of different things, but everything comes at a cost. So that's another factor.
What I think you should also do is have TVs right up on the ceiling that just play Aliens on loop the whole time, all day, 24/7.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that is. I mean, our air conditioning is how hot it's been recently. I mean, it's the air conditioning here is like a meat locker in here. It's so cold, but
nice.
It's a bit over designed. It's over designed to give it that look, that kind of alien look that you're talking about.
I noticed.
I mean, we've got blue light technology which helps with germs, and when we wanted to take the pipework on a journey, we didn't want it'd be very simple to do it, functionally, but we also wanted to take it on a journey to give that ceiling that kind of that look. So that's something we really over designed, because if I turn the air conditioning, both these units on, it really is very, very cold, so it's a bit overkill, but it lends itself to the aesthetic. So in some ways that's decorative for the ceiling, that also has tremendous functionality as well, albeit a little bit much.
Yeah, I love the way it looks. I think one of the key themes during this podcast is just the intentionality that's gone into every aspect of the aesthetic, right? I recently did a podcast with Luke Carlson, who's CEO of Discover Strength, about, dress code. And, a lot of people were like, oh God, is this really that important? And I think actually from a business point of view, it's very important. And the key theme, the key takeaway from that episode is, look, it doesn't matter how you dress necessarily, or there's lots of different options. But the point is intentionality. What are you trying to achieve with the dress code? What does it say? And I think that's kind of what you've been saying today in terms of the decisions that's gone into the interior design. It's just everything's intentional. And I just think that's really cool. Do you find a different experience coming to work? Like, notwithstanding the fact that you are in an amazing location with the most beautiful view, do you find it is it different? Is it more enjoyable? Do you look forward to it? Do you have a different feeling when you walk in the front door versus, because I mean, your old location was fine. And obviously I've seen it, but it's not the same as this.
Yeah, I mean, it is, in answer to your question, yes, absolutely we do. Because again, we start very early. Sometimes we're here at 7 o'clock in the morning. But again, people who are watching this can't really see it. But I mean, I've got floor to ceiling windows and doors where people can't look in, but I can see out. And what I'm looking at now,
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you cannot see in here, but you can see out very clearly. That was a big performance getting that right. But looking out, I'm looking at a harbour with yachts and a beautiful sky, and it's just beautiful. It could be the south of France. So, and we've got this table here. So Lorraine and I come in the morning. I'll have a bit of a hoover up. Lorraine will make the coffee, and then we'll sit here for 20 minutes and drink our coffee and look out.
What a way to start the day.
Yeah, I mean, and with our restroom, with our toilet area, we went to over the top with that. We wanted to make that very, very beautiful as well. So in our previous location, we had, you had to walk 400 meters just to go to the loo. So here we've made something that is
400 meters. Is that how far away? Or are you exaggerating?
Something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe 200-300 meters. I don't know.
I must have held it when I was there.
Depends. It depends how badly you want to go, is how far it seems. But yeah. But yeah, so that, we've got a changing room, we've got a beautiful toilet, so yes, in answer to your question, it is, you'd be mad not to appreciate how much more relaxing and more invigorating this environment is. Sitting there, we've got a beautiful coffee maker, we have great coffee here, so it's great. So we've got a lot of creature comforts we didn't have.
Yeah.
So it's much better.
Do you charge for the coffee, or is it just part of the offer?
Well, you know what I'm like, right? Although I'm on a business podcast, and you've sort of putting me in the same sentence as Luke Carlson. I'm not. That is not me. He's a businessman. He knows what he's doing. But so our intention was to charge for coffee, but of course, in the first few days, we're giving it away. Because we're too embarrassed to say, so we just, and then it just happened that way. Same with the water, we encourage people to bring water now, but more often than not, if someone's thirsty, I'll just give them a bottle of water,
Yeah, so, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, look, it's I guess a very personal decision whether you're gonna charge for that or bake it in or whatever. This episode is brought to you by ARX. These are the most intense exercise machines I've ever used. I remember how fast the pull-down exercise took me to muscular failure and beyond. On the final negative or eccentric excursion, my tank was practically empty, but the adaptive resistance enabled me to continue to perform work until the predetermined end of the set. This experience was very profound and made me realize how effective ARX is in helping clients reach a high level of intensity in their workouts and ultimately produce the best results. I also love how ARX measures and tracks range of motion, rep cadence, total output and time, and more with real-time audio and visual feedback. These features are powerful sales and retention tools to help you convert and keep more clients. As a listener of the High Intensity Business podcast, ARX is offering you $500 off your machines. Just go to arxfit.com/HIB to book a call with the ARX sales team to learn how ARX can revolutionize and grow your fitness business. Again, go to arxfit.com/HIB, and now back to the episode. This episode is brought to you by Strength Portal. You need a software platform that enables you to track workouts, deliver consistent high-quality client experiences, and scale your business. The problem is you're still using pen and paper or basic spreadsheets to run your business, which leads to inconsistent workout experiences and stifles your business growth, making you feel frustrated. Strength Portal have worked closely with the HIIT industry to create a software platform to manage and scale your niche business. Strength Portal is used by multiple businesses in the high-intensity strength training community, namely Discover Strength, Smart Strength Austin, MedX Precision Fitness, and more. To help support the podcast, go to strengthportal.com/high-intensity business and sign up for your ideal package now. That's strengthportal.com/high-intensity business. And now back to the episode. I mean, just getting back to what you're saying, like, I just think you have the best view. Like, I just think what a great location. I mean, again, listeners, you'll need to go to the post to see this, but you walk out and it's like a beautiful harbor with luxury apartments and just the sea. And obviously on a nice day in Essex, it's a really nice, experience. And I couldn't think of a better place to sit and chill after a really hard workout, right? So it's perfect for that, perfect setting. And just contemplating what you've just been through, I think it's just great for that. Because you've got little places you can sit, right? There's like little trees that are like surrounded by, looks like sort of concrete seating or something like that, which you can just
there's a beautiful little restaurant and wine bar just up there. There's a beautiful pub just behind us.
Post workout.
Absolutely. So we're very lucky. I mean, we always say, we want to tick these boxes. We haven't got the best. We've got fantastic equipment. We haven't got the best equipped gym in the UK is the Collins Brothers gym, right? That's the best equipped gym in the UK, in my opinion.
Probably.
And then you have, but they haven't got this view. right? So all gyms have positives and negatives, but when you go and you tick the box down of everything, and I'm not being big-headed here when I say this. This is one of the best gyms in the UK because it ticks so many boxes, and that's what we always wanted. We wanted a gym that was that would stand up against anybody's. When you look, best view, great equipment, good trainers. Great architecture.
You were already so strongly differentiated in your last location just based on the model and your expertise, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Not even in my opinion. I suppose it is my opinion, but I think it's likely to be true. Now you're really, really strongly differentiated, really attractive location, place where people want to come work out, want to hang around outside afterwards. You've still got obviously even more experience now, great expertise, what seems like great equipment, so you're even more strongly differentiated now, which, well, I mean, we can talk about results in a moment. You've had great results since opening, and hopefully it will continue. So just getting back to some of the interior design stuff, you've also gone for carpet, right? You've got a nice gray carpet, which has like gray patterns and is, again, congruent with this kind of hard, gritty feel you're going for, and it's congruent with the color of the walls. Do you want to talk about carpet versus, did you think about like a concrete floor? Did you think about a different floor? I'm curious your thought process around that. I know it seems like a trivial thing, but.
Well, the one thing we didn't want was a rubber floor. So we had the rubber floor in the other gym, and it was very, very difficult to keep clean if you want it to look nice, clean every day. It's a real pain. So we knew we didn't want rubber, and we didn't want vinyl or anything that was just a floor that you could forget about. We wanted something. So we got a few different patterns and different a plain carpet of different colors, always along the sort of the hard gunmetal gray colors, but in different ways and different patterns. And then this one turned up, and we all looked at it together, and some of us liked it, some of us didn't like it. So we ordered a lot of it for a sample, and then laid it in here, stood back. And this carpet can be laid so many different ways. So we laid it in 2 or 3 different ways. And once it was down against the natural light, that was it. As soon as you look at it, you think, yeah, this is it. We thought initially it might be a little bit big. I fell in love with it the first time I saw it. But the thought process was it could be a little bit busy, a little bit too much. But it just works. We just got lucky. And then they were running out of it. We just about had enough to do it. And it just worked. And it's because if we do any work on the floor, any push-ups or sit-ups or anything, we have yoga mats to lay down so we can do that. But because it's not a soft giving carpet, it's an industrial style carpet. But it just works, and we're very, very pleased with that.
What about coffee stains? Are those easy to get out?
My friend from years ago, Tony, he's a very house proud man, very nice man, and very, very, him and his wife are very, very house proud, and they keep a beautiful home. But when you have a look at their dining table, it's got scuffs and rings and marks from a lot of parties. And he made a very good point to me years ago. He said, "That's what it's for. That's part of its nature. That's to have a few marks is its life. That's the reason for its being." So that's very true. I don't make too much of a fuss about that. If a ring goes on it, great. If it gets scuffed and banged, and that's what it's for, isn't it? That's his purpose. That's his utility. So I don't worry about stuff like that. I worry about an immaculately clean toilet bowl and polishing up the taps so that and the specific diffuser that we have in there that creates a very nice aroma of Acqua di Parma when you walk in there. We want that. But in terms of the actual stuff that's utility, we don't mind a cracked cup. or a few rings on the table, because again, it's what it's for, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So the other thing you've got is you've got these interesting lighting fixtures, like pillars, with a light system that you can change to all sorts of different colors. What was the thought behind that? Where did that come from?
Well, it was something that just took a life of its own, really, because the pillars were originally just like just concrete pillars, and then we decided to just paint them black. And then when the gentleman came in and started doing our gate and designing the gate, how we wanted it to look, which has got elements of that brutalist sort of look to it, and it's like a what would you call it? Perforated steel look,
Mm-hmm.
That we thought it's going to look great on the pillars. So, God, because all this is more money, isn't it? But you think, well, it would look great. And then along with that, Darren said, what about lighting it up from the inside? And we talked to our electrician. He said, sure, I can do that. And that actually wasn't as bad as we thought it was going to be in terms of cost. So he did that. And it's just, originally it was just going to be green, to highlight the green of the prime equipment. But
yeah, I love that.
We kind of like the idea of it cycling through various colors. So it does look good. And we always say, because along with our sound system, because our sound system is, knock your socks off. It's very, very good. And if you walk in here and you turn the sound system on, turn the lights off, and then you have the light show effect. Yeah, you think to yourself it would be a better bar than a gym. So
you could. I mean, I'm assuming you're thinking about potentially events, client events, like obviously small. You could do that in the evenings, right? Like
absolutely.
You could totally do that, right?
Yeah,
and you could open it up out into the outside if you have those permissions, I guess.
Yeah, you could do. You
little
go
cocktail party,
lines.
networking.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Yeah, you could. Yeah. So we've always got those options to do. But again, always all these nice little design features are as nice as they look, and it's always the training first.
Yeah. And the other thought I had actually, sorry, go ahead. Yep.
Well, I was going to say it's like both Darren and his wife Lee and Craig, who sort of kind of run the project day to day. They all train with me. They're all very serious about their training. And Darren and I which I wrote about on Facebook the other day. Darren and I had a workout the other day, nearly killed each other. I mean, he's a few years younger than me, and he's very, very strong. But we both, as nice as this all is, and as proud of it as we are, and all the details and everything, the look, we can give it out too. That's still our four. We could train in a damp basement. It would make the training is more important than the look still.
Yeah, and you haven't taken away from that with the look, which is the key thing. Coming back to, it's all supporting the training. It's all kind of congruent with that minimalist kind of feel to it. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. No, very cool. I like the light fixtures, the congruence with the prime machine color. I thought that looked really nice. And I like what you've done with the central unit. So you've got like a central unit behind the front desk with a kitchen. And that's staff only, right? That's an internal thing. Obviously, you can make stuff for clients, coffees and things, but they're not going in there. And I know at some point you are potentially looking to hire some trainers. So it gives them a kitchen to use, but it's nicely blocked off where it's not going to interfere with any of the training. You can't see it, right?
No,
I think that obviously a lot of thought went into that too. I think that's really key.
Yes.
You don't want someone eating a sandwich at their desk. Go ahead.
No. We have a little seat in there and a nice little area where we can eat. But generally we eat out here, if we're quiet.
Yeah.
We have a separate, we have a fridge out here for water, a clear glass fridge. And on top of that, we have that reclaimed wood again, where we have our coffee machine. So people can help themselves to coffee out here. But the inside is really Lorraine's front desk where she has a computer and does the work, and then behind her is the kitchen units. So what the thought process behind that was, if we're going to be here and run the kind of numbers that we want to run, we're not going to be able to go home for lunch as often as we'd like, and also working a little bit later. Sometimes we don't get out of here till 8 o'clock. So we needed somewhere we could have something to eat, so we got a microwave, a nice fridge, and we sort of designed it so that it would make it a bit more staff friendly. Homely.
Yeah. I get. Sorry, I didn't mean to finish your sentence. I mean, if you're spending that much time there, it totally makes sense to invest in that. So this was a big project, right? You kind of hinted at the lead time earlier. Was it like 1 year to get the whole thing done, roughly?
It took a year, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
we had a lot of delays with the equipment too. The prime equipment took forever to
which
come.
you had delivered from the US. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and for one reason or another, COVID or whatever, it took forever to come. So that extended the lead time, but it also gave us time to be operating in the other unit, so that money was still coming in as it was being spent.
Yeah, good point. And do you want to briefly touch on the prime equipment? Why did you decide to go for that? What's the kind of features of that equipment?
I like first and foremost, I think I've always been from 1982 when I first had my first gym. It was Nautilus, so I've always been very into the Nautilus philosophy and the equipment. But over recent years, as good as the customer service is, and it's very good with Nautilus, I think the equipment, in my experience, has gone a little bit hotel gymmy, for want of a better word. It's a bit corporate rather than something you could drop a bomb on that would outlast you. I mean, I know that the equipment that I had back in '82 is still in circulation out there now. Still being used. So Nautilus was that way. But I found that going forward, looking at the prime equipment, I loved the way it looked in terms. Its design was beautiful, but of course that's secondary. Yeah. But the build quality was very, very good. And we wanted something that was going to last. And we wanted heavy duty equipment. And of course, you've got the cams on it, the Smart Strength cams, which adjust in 5 different positions. So I love the idea of that. And it did have very, very good customer feedback. People who used it, both the plate loaded and the selectorized, always got very, very good reviews. It was a little expensive, but we've been very pleased with it. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought possibly that the Smart Strength cam may have been a little bit of a what would be the word to use? Possibly a little bit of a
knockoff,
a novelty, novelty item. Because I mean, Nautilus is the cam, right? But maybe a bit of novelty item, but it certainly is not. I mean, it works phenomenally well.
And they're all are the cams different for each prime machine, or are they the same? How does it?
Well, you have 5 different settings on each machine, 5 different cam settings to correspond to that machine.
So that means you can change where the resistance is highest, where maximum moment arm, and where there's fall off. You can change that.
Yes. Right. So you've got 5 settings. You've got a mid-range setting, an end range setting, a beginning range setting, mid and end, and mid and beginning. So you can make something like, for instance, on the leg press, you can set it so it feels more like a squat coming out the bottom. Of course, you haven't got the lower back issues there. You're in a very safe position. So it can feel like a ton coming out the bottom and then drop off towards the top if your knee's feeling it a little. And you also do the complete opposite, where you can load the mid-range to the end of the leg press, so that and having used the duo squat, I've had 3 duo squats in my life from Nautilus. I know the design that went into that, and the technology that went into developing that machine with the negative cam. And I've got to say that the Prime have taken that another step forward. I haven't used certain leg equipment, and the name escapes me now, that is very highly regarded. Not Medex, but Avenger. I haven't used the Avenger leg press, and I hear that's very good, but that's plate loaded. But this leg press that we have with Prime is by far the best leg equipment I've used in my experience, and that's better than Hammer leg press, any of the Nautilus leg presses, or the Duo Squat. This, in my opinion, is better.
And can you adjust that cam on the fly as well whilst the person's actually training, or do you have to do it at the start of the exercise?
You can't adjust it mid repetition, but you can adjust it between repetitions. Yeah.
Okay.
We might run a client through a set of 3 sets where you're doing 5 repetitions per set, and they stop momentarily. I'll adjust the cam and make it different for each range within those sets.
Now, I'd love to try it. One day, Ted, I'll be over there to have a workout and try your equipment. It sounds really interesting. And the other thing as well, we were kind of talking about briefly before we got started is the cost of all of this, right? So people want to, they see the studio and they think, wow, I'd love to be able to invest in something like that and create that. Can you just give the listeners or the viewers just an order of magnitude, what they can expect in terms of cost for all this? In terms of range?
The Prime equipment itself, that's not including anything else we've got, but just the Prime equipment itself comes in at 50,000.
That's pound sterling?
Pound sterling, including that. And the decorative process is around about that kind of figure.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, so thank you for that. Appreciate you being open, because it just helps people to budget them for themselves and understand. Awesome.
But let me emphasize one thing. When we first had our conversation many years ago, and my first advice to you, were talking about business, and I said, well, tell people, in my opinion, that the most important thing is to don't overspend on equipment. Don't go in and think you need a full range of Medex equipment or Nautilus and overcommit yourself, because then you turn your passion into a nightmare, because then it's all got to be paid for. So my advice has always been to start small, don't overspend, and buy equipment when you can afford it. And I still maintain that. But having been in operation for 10 years and not having huge outgoings, having a very reasonable rent, has allowed us to be in a position where we can afford to do this without borrowing huge amounts of money. That, and the fact that we've had huge amounts of help from people doing work at cost. And we've been lucky by finding, hunting around for cheaper supplies and bits and pieces. So I still, we haven't gone in here and just thrown money at it. It's been we're very careful, and it's taken a long time to get into a position where we're able to do what you see here.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Actually, that gives context, and you've got really long career at this point. You've got great judgment. I think that's the word, isn't it? So it's very different in terms of you investing in this and someone who's just getting started for the first time. And something I wanted to point out, actually, one of the things I love about our industry and the type of clients that most of us typically have, you hear this a lot, right? Where, we're attracting the clients who, a lot of them are business owners or really interesting people that do offer collaborative opportunities for us and help us grow our businesses. I just think that's really cool. Little perk to what we do. I mean, I just think about our business, and we're still in that kind of startup phase, but every new client we get is just fascinating. I mean, I don't want to sound elitist or anything like that, because every individual's special and all that stuff, but we just get some really interesting clients, and that's just very, very cool part of the job, I think.
Yes.
Awesome. So thank you for all that. So I just wanted to, before we kind of wrap up, I just wanted to get into a bit about what the reaction's been to all of this, right? So you've had a fantastic start. Why don't you first say to the listeners, talk about the first few, how long it took you to get a 40 sessions a week at when you first started out versus how long it took you to get to 40, 45 at this new location?
When we first started in 2012 or 13, it took us 2 years to get to 40 sessions a week. And being in this new location, and believe me, when we moved, it's considerable distance from our old gym to here. So we lost 90% of our clients. That was a big decision because we had a fairly decent living there in our own small way. So metaphorically, we were cutting our throat, really. And when we moved here, it was a big risk. But we've been blessed because within the first, this is week 8 now, I believe, we have already peaked on 40 sessions a week. So we have had some guys follow us over, which has kept the numbers up initially. But we've had a tremendous amount of support here. Not always, but mostly we've had a good support from people coming in and having a few workouts. And because, as you know, we don't advertise; it's all word of mouth. Mm-hmm. So it's referrals only. So it takes time, you know. And Lawrence, honestly, you have jelly legs a little bit because, you know, it's basically started from scratch again because while we didn't have to borrow to do this, it's cost more or less all we've got to do it. You know, in reality, it's not, we're not hugely wealthy people. So we've put a lot of money into this. And, you know, it's nervous. We are nervous. I would be lying to say that we're not. Some days we sit down and we have a glass of wine and we talk about, you know, what should we do? Are we going in the right direction? Because it is slow and it was at the other one. But we believe very much in, we don't dilute the business. Just stick to what you know and do it well. You know, we were talking the other day about that. You know, should we open the gym up to other trainers? Maybe we could generate even more income that way and have more group sessions. But, you know, don't be a restaurant where where you're offering too many different dishes, you know, just 100%. From too many different countries. You know, stick to what you know, stay true to what you know. And that's what we do here. And that's what we're going to live and die by, just sticking to our principles and not diluting that.
Well said, Ted. Yeah, I love that. Let me just understand this a bit better. So, you know, you're week 8, you're already at 40 to 45 sessions a week. And you mentioned that you had some support. What does that mean? Like, okay, so you only retained 10% of your clients approximately when you came over. So what was it, all walk-ins? Was it people picking up the phone? Like, how did you grow the business? Can you just elaborate on that so we can understand how did that actually happen?
We spent time here with the doors open when we first opened. You know, we just came here and stayed here all day with the doors open. We got some walk-ins, and then we had our little documentary the guy did for us that got some traction, which is on it's on YouTube. Our Facebook page. I believe. On YouTube as well. Yeah. Okay.
We'll link both. We'll link both. Yeah.
Yeah, that got some traction, and just word of mouth. You know, when we do a good job, it's like in our previous gym. I always say to you about speaking to Rotary Club, Rotarians, and we got one gentleman who came in and got great results, and he just spoke about it, and we got tremendous traction from that. And that's what's happening here now. So when I talk about support, what I mean is the local people in the area have been very supportive. They're coming in, and gradually word is getting about, you know.
Yeah, and you're giving great experiences.
Because we can do more than one person in. Yeah, that's right. And we can do more than one person in here at the same time. So Lorraine could be training a client and I could be training a client. We can train couples together. Yeah. So the hourly rate is better than where we were, where it was mostly just one-on-one, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. So yeah, just get back to your point there. It sounds like you're just giving great workouts, great experiences, and that's leading to this word of mouth, which is what we hear over and over again. You know, in our industry, it's if you're not producing the lion's share of your leads through referral, it's not the marketing that's the problem, it's the workout. And I think a lot of us in this industry are afraid to admit that and to kind of reevaluate how we're delivering the customer experience, right? And you do that so well. And I've had one of my best workouts of my life at your studio all those years ago. And so it's no surprise to me, Ted, that that's happening. It's so cool to see. And I encourage the listeners to take a trip to Vital Exercise, pay full price. It's well worth it if you want to learn how to deliver great workout experiences.
Be a good trainer. You're so right there, and that's my advice to everybody. First of all, don't look at this gym and think, oh, it's so far ahead of me. None of that matters. None of this matters. It all matters is about the kind of relationship you have with your clients and the kind of workout that you provide. Because if you're a good chef, you can work anywhere, right? If you can produce good food, people want to eat wherever you go. So just be good at your job. And in many cases with the equipment, the more you know, the less you need as well. So you don't absolutely have to have a gym teeming with the best equipment. It's very nice, but it's not essential. And just do the best you can do, but do a good job,
Just occurred to me, and maybe we've touched on this before in previous podcasts together, but I'd love to do, if you're open to it, Ted, a podcast where we focus on your process. So when someone walks in the door for a workout, what happens start to finish in terms of the greet? I think we've touched on this, but it'd be really good because that's the essence. That is what is driving and growing your business, and retaining clients and generating referrals. So I think there's so much we could learn from that, right? So if you're open to that, we could do that at some point. But just to get back to, again, interior design and the impact that's had, I'm curious, what type of reaction do you get from the walk-ins, from people who are coming into your studio for the first time for a free introductory workout or whatever it is, a consultation? What's the reaction to the studio?
Well, you're like sort of American colloquialism, offer that wow experience.
Yeah.
When you walk in, that's literally what we get. People come in and go, wow. They do, because it does knock your socks off when you walk in here. It looks, and we're very proud of that. It's beautiful. So that is the reaction. People walk in because you can't see in as well. It's very understated too. We didn't go for flashy signs. It's all very, very minimal. Very, we just, people constantly look. That's one of the problems with this.
They come right up.
People are always putting their noses against it. So I'm always out there cleaning that off. But people walk in and you can't walk in here and think anything other than it is a beautiful look, and it is a beautiful look. But you'll get that too. People come in and they ask how much it is, and they just turn around and walk right out. A lot of people have no comprehension of how much. Sometimes personal trainers aren't valued. It's not. You must have talked about this. That the job of personal training itself is not given a monetary value. It's seen as very not a high level commodity, when in fact it is. When I say to people when they come in, you're not buying time in the gym, you're buying my time. And I've spent 40 years learning my craft, so I'm worth that money. Because Absolutely. There's 18-year-old kids getting £30 an hour running people around in fields, So if you're going to come in here, yeah.
Do you not think that more often than not, they change their mind once they've actually experienced it? You've got to experience it, right? Or you're never going to understand.
Yes.
I mean, there are obviously people of a certain financial status who hear the price point that we typically charge in our space, and it doesn't even bother them, obviously, right? Because to them, it's not a lot of money. But then obviously you get people who aren't at that same financial level who might scoff, or just because they don't understand how different it is, right? And that's why I'm always. Do you do a free workout, Ted? I can't remember, or is it a paid consultation? What's your initial sales process like?
We do free consultations.
You do? Okay.
So they come in. Initially, we used to do free workouts at the other gym, but here we just do free consultations. Okay. They come in, we sit down, and we ask them, what we can do for you. And we've kind of refined that process now, where we say that what we're trying to do is to, we don't want people coming in just to run around the machines and thinking they can offset what they do out there in the world. We'd say, please come in with a objective to get from point A to point B. point A being what you decide you want to get, and point being where you want to get to. Have a goal, because our job is to get you, and that's a very good. Commercially, it's a good thing, and it's a good business principle, because you're saying we're here for you, and I say to them that if they don't produce that result, there's no guarantee they're going to come back, because they're walking billboards for us. That is one of the things we say, that if you're saying, well, and you lose weight, you gain muscle, and you're looking better and you're feeling better, and people say, where are you training? They'll say, I'm doing with Ted and Lorraine at Vital Exercise. But if guys won't follow a reasonable diet plan and stick with the program, then we say to them, then there's no guarantee that you're coming back, because I don't want people walking around out there who aren't committed to the process, because they make me look bad.
Yeah. You're not the first to say that in our space. I know, quite a few people who think like that about their clients. Yeah, absolutely. I'm just seeing here what we haven't touched on, which I thought would be, I'm interested. You said it there about, you get to wow reaction when people walk in, which is no surprise. What about your former clients not your former, clients you've had in the last location? How do they react? The same kind of thing? Do they prefer it?
The clients that have followed us over?
Yeah. I'm curious their reaction. Or are they like, whatever?
I think the ones that have followed us over realize that an extra 30 minutes in the car to come here is and to be trained by someone they want to train them is worth the investment, So yes, they've had first-hand experience of the other gym and first-hand here. The training's the same, the machines are a little different, but the environment for them is much nicer. So yes, you get, again, they're very, very pleased for us, and they're happy to be in this environment. Yeah.
Yeah. Final question for you. I'm just curious, because it's quite an affluent area, is my understanding, where you're located, right? So do you find that the walk-ins are actually more often than not well qualified or a good fit for you? I mean, I know you mentioned that some people walk in, ask the price, and then walk straight back out again. And that's such a good thing, Ted, because you got to be polarizing like that to attract the right people. And actually, hopefully you've kind of followed through with our discussion previously about your pricing and increased it, which I believe you have. So that's the exact reaction you want. I think it's very counterintuitive, because a lot of people in the fitness industry or in business in general, they see that, they have that type of experience. They say, we're too expensive. It's like, no, you're just targeting the wrong people. So anyway, have you found that, like, well, I guess maybe you haven't got much of a comparison, because the last location didn't really have a walk-in kind of, wasn't that type of location, right? So I'm just curious though, what percentage of walk-ins are you finding are a good fit, just because of the area you're in? If you had to put a percentage on it, I know it's difficult. I'm kind of, catching you on the spot, or putting you on the spot even.
It's funny, because it actually correlates very well to the kind of experience we had at the previous gym. Is that in the previous gym, for every 3 people that made an inquiry, the average was 1 stayed. And for every 3 people that walk through the door, you probably have 1 that will sign up and take you to the next step.
Okay. And it's the same with this one as well,
1 in
right?
3. Yeah, okay. 1 in 3 generally. Yeah.
Okay. And that's the same for walk-ins. So if you had 3 people come in, maybe 1 is likely to. Yeah. Interesting. Wow. Okay. Sounds pretty good, actually. Obviously, we're not talking about people that sign up for a consultation. That's a different conversion rate. But you're talking about people that are just walking and looking for more information, which is far removed from that stage of the sales process.
I think initially as well. I think now that those figures I'm talking about is more applicable to now. But for the first couple of weeks, we had a lot of people coming in, a lot of people booking consultations. And that
you want numbers at that stage, don't you? You want numbers, right? At that point, you don't care necessarily who. You just We could
have rammed this place out within the first 2 weeks. We could have really, really been busy, but it's only Lorraine and myself. And going back to what we were talking about with the quality, we're very, very concerned about not being able to offer that quality that we wanted to, and we've just had people actually now that we were doing a family of 4 together. And I felt that after a few weeks, we weren't able to offer the quality that we wanted with 2 teenagers and 2 adults training together. So we've had to stop that, because and that would be the case. You get too many people in, you're overwhelmed with it, and it becomes like a sausage factory, and you're trying to keep up, and you have no breathing space, and you can't focus totally on that one workout with that one client, because you're always worried about the next one. Are you too busy? You're tired. So going in a little bit slower allows that quality to stay very high, which is very important in my opinion.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Ted, awesome podcast as always. Great talking to you. And
thank you.
Congratulations on this studio. I think it's going to go from strength to strength. Excuse the pun. And contact details. If people want to find out more, where do they go?
Our website, vitalexercise.com.
Awesome.
And we have Vital Exercise on Facebook. And that's it, really. Yeah, vitalexercise.com.
And we will link
Instagram,
all this up in the show notes. Yeah, Instagram as well. Look at you. Look at you, Instagram. I bet you're on TikTok next, aren't you?
I don't even know what that is.
But it's better that you don't. It's better that you don't. And for everyone listening or watching this podcast, to find the blog post for this episode and check out the video tour of Vital Exercise, which will give you a lot more context. Everything that's been discussed today. Please go to highintensitybusiness.com, search for episode 376. And until next time, thank you very much for listening. This episode is brought to you by ARX. You want to be a successful strength training studio owner. The problem is you aren't able to deliver the safest, most efficient and effective workouts, making it harder for you to attract and retain clients, which makes you feel frustrated. I understand that it can be difficult to differentiate your business without the right tools. ARX's breakthrough adaptive resistance technology uses patented motorized resistance and computer software to give you and your clients the perfect workout every single time. BioFit founder John Zarbok says that ARX is clearly the superior tool to deliver the exercise stimulus. My clients are seeing insane improvements in weeks, not months. I could not fathom running my business without ARX. So here's how you get started. Number 1, go to arxfit.com/HOB to get $500 off your ARX machines. Number 2, book a call with the ARX sales team. And number 3, learn how ARX can help you grow your strength training business. Go to arxfit.com/HOB so you can stop struggling to attract and retain clients and start to grow your strength training business with confidence. This episode is brought to you by Strength Portal. You need a single software platform that enables your trainers to deliver consistent, high-quality workouts, track client progress, and scale your business. The problem is you're still using pen and paper or basic spreadsheets to run your business, which leads to poor client experiences, inaccurate tracking, and prevents you from growing your business, making you feel frustrated. Strength Portal understand your challenge and have worked closely with the HIIT industry to create a software platform to manage and scale your niche business. You can integrate with MindBody, manage a standardized exercise and workout library for your team, track workouts effectively, and produce client reports at the click of a button. Strength Portal is used by multiple businesses in the high-intensity strength training community, namely Discover Strength, Smart Strength Austin, MedX Precision Fitness, and more. Starting with Strength Portal is super simple. Number 1, sign up for the best package for your business. Number 2, let Strength Portal take the load off and help onboard your business onto the platform. And number 3, start delivering consistent workout experiences and scale your business to the next level. To help support the podcast, please go to strengthportal.com/high-intensity business and sign up now so you can stop feeling frustrated about your business and start to scale your business to its true potential. Go to strengthportal.com/high-intensity business.